All right, grade 11. So just a quick revision about some things we covered in today's lesson. I just wanted to ensure we covered this so that you can see the connection between what we looked at today and how it applies later on. So we're just going to quickly discuss this idea of the other and how it's expressed in two different ways, through the mutant and through the monster. So to begin with, the idea of a mutant comes from the Latin of change, or the root for change. And why do we bother to consider the mutant in writing, in stories? Well, it's because when we think about the purpose of literature, it's about what it means to be human. What do we exactly mean when we say human? Who is human? What do we consider human? What is not human? And when we look at these exaggerations, perhaps of mutants, we reveal the non-human to then reveal ourselves. So when we look at things that we consider to be not human or not a part of our idea of human, we reveal something deeper about our own psyche, or about our own people, right? About our own selves. When we consider the idea of a monster, it's a little bit different. We thought, to begin with, that it's a warning sign. So it's a warning to us. The monster is a fear. The monster embodies some kind of thing that we shouldn't do, an action we shouldn't take, so that we don't become the monster. But when we also exclude monsters in our society, down here, it is identical when it's excluded. So through its exclusion, it is identical with that by which it is excluded. So, for instance, if it's a monster to represent some kind of like human, then it's matching humanity in some ways. It's trying to hold up a mirror to humanity and say, look, this is actually you. For example, a town, a place, a setting is monstrous, then it's still the same principle that, hey, all the qualities that we see as monstrous in this place are things that we see, for example, in other cities, in other towns, and other environments as well. So how does this apply to your short stories? Okay, because that's your main focus this term. Well, if we think about our focus theme being the other, well, monsters and mutants are a great way to reveal this theme through your writing, or a great way to really look at it and pull it apart. So when you're thinking of your stories, I want you to be considering, what are some monsters or mutants that I can think of, things that our society others or doesn't accept? And then what does that reveal about us? It's a nice succinct way to then touch on your theme and then also make a comment about something of value. So if I think just some really basic examples, nothing too crazy, but we'll get into a bit of this later, we could think about the man who lives in, that old rundown house, and how people that we don't understand can seem monstrous or mutinous, things that we don't really accept to be a part of our society. But then what does that say about us, right? And that's the whole point. How does excluding that person who lives in that old rundown house, who we see as monstrous, as someone, and what does that say about us? So I got this idea from the book To Kill a Mockingbird. I forget the name of the character, but it's quite a powerful thing that sticks out to me from that book. We could also think about, something quite a bit sci-fi, which could also be like some kind of historical fiction, is this idea of invaders from a foreign land who seem mutant or monstrous. And we can be fantastical with these things and think about, maybe they come from outer space, or they come from some kind of lost civilization or something like that. But they don't always have to be. It could be set in a medieval time, or in a different sort of land, or a different sort of alternative world where, we don't actually know what's across the sea, right? So there's just a few ideas how you could embed the idea of the other, the monster, the mutant within your short stories this term. And I hope you consider this as an option to follow in your writing. Thank you.